Hello, my name is Angela Owens with Phenomenal Business Solutions, and I provide bookkeeping and accounting services and business advisory services to small businesses. Today, we are going to be discussing about how you can use AI to help with your dealership's lead generation. And I have an expert with me, Casey Gleaton, and he's going to share information with us about how you can increase and improve your sales at your dealership. Casey, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, how you doing? My name is Casey Gleaton. That's Casey, initials Casey, last name Gleaton, Gleaton. Um, yeah, I have a company that's called Digital Dealership, and what we do at Digital Dealership is help dealerships improve their lead generation, lead conversion, fulfillment, and just be able to increase the amount of business that they're able to handle, number one, and also the conversion rate. So, they end up getting significantly more business. So that's really what we end up doing.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump right on into this interviews because we got a lot of information to cover. So Casey, could you share your journey and what inspired you to pioneer AI and automation solutions for lead generation?
Sure, absolutely. One of the things that I didn't mention in my introduction is that I'm also a dealer. So one of the things that happens is I wanted some kind of software, some way of being able to do this for my dealership. Now, I started out in my education as an electrical engineer and computer science major. So what I've always been a techie type. So when I started my dealership, one of the things that I wanted to do was find ways of being able to integrate technology a little bit more into what we do in the business. And so what I found was that there wasn't a lot of technology that could really be used. So what I started to do was fool around and tinker and kind of put things together. And then what I did was I developed an AI system that allowed me to make phone calls and that could answer phone calls and actually handle a lot of the stuff that we would do in the business. So in some cases, it's set that it could actually take over the work of a BDC. So we're working with smaller dealerships so that they actually can create a BDC. And for bigger dealerships, we actually just integrate with the BDC that you currently have and then be able to get more people to your sales folks. So it really depends on the size of the dealership as in terms of how we actually integrate, but it can be just about any way that you need because every system is going to be bespoke. So, like I said, my big thing is AI and automation is huge for me. I have worked on AI and automation for Fortune 50 companies for the last 20 years as well. And in doing so, I actually built the systems that a lot of these companies are using to actually run their marketing and their fulfillment journey. So understanding how to do it is very easy for me, and how to build it and create it and make it work for dealers is actually really simple because it's much smaller and much more simple than the systems that I did for those larger organizations.
Okay. So what are the emerging trends in AI and automation within the automotive industry, and why are they becoming indispensable for modern car dealerships?
Well, the automotive industry is definitely moving towards widespread, more AI automation and adoption. They're projecting like by 2026 that about 30% to 35% of all market leaders, now the market leaders are going to be integrating those technologies by that time. Now, they're critical, obviously, for creating some efficient operational efficiencies and making sure that you're able to build the business that much better and faster. But what you're going to find also is that smaller dealership, now we're talking about 35% for the major and the market leaders, but for the smaller dealership, you're going to find that it's going to allow them to compete in a much better way with some of the bigger dealers. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing really in the next couple of years.
Okay. So, how does AI enhanced lead generation transcend traditional approaches?
Well, I guess, AI lead generation really surpasses, most of the traditional methods because one of the things that we can use is what's called predictive analytics. So when we speak to someone on the phone, we're having conversations with them. One of the things that ends up happening is we're collecting data, and that data then allows us to be able to improve over time how we actually can collect that data and what people are saying and how we can actually convert people. So this is really important because one of the things that really happens as you begin the process of generating leads and all of that, you want to have some way of being able to improve what you do. AI is just like you. The more you talk to someone, the more you figure out, the more situations you run into, guess what? The better you are at being able to collect that information and understand what to do next. So with AI, it works even better though. The thing to remember is that it's collecting information at all times based on what people say, what they do, how they do everything, and all of that information can predict whether or not a person would ultimately be a good client or whether or not they're ready to buy now. So because AI will allow you to do that, we can then concentrate most of our time and effort on people who are ready to close. And so that means that the quality of your leads increases by, close to 50%. We got about 47%. So it's huge in terms of the numbers, and we're able to precisely target people based on their actions and the things that they actually do within your funnel.
Okay. What types of data does your AI system analyze to elevate the precision and effectiveness of lead generation?
Well, in terms of data, one of the things that we want to make sure that we do is we know precisely what people are going to do based on this predictive analytics. So that's one of the things that we want to make sure that we know, right? And then in terms of the other data that's collected, what we do is we actually see what people are doing online. So we're able, once we interact with someone online, now we can collect all the data about what they're doing with regards to your website. Are they clicking on any of your emails? Are they, taking a look at anything that is online? Are they looking at cars online? Which cars are they looking at online? We can determine all of these things and integrate all of that data into our system, and then ultimately be able to create a better picture and direct people to the right vehicle, number one, for them, and then also be able to direct the salesperson, and this is more importantly, the salesperson, so that they know what things they should be talking to the customer or potential customer about. What kind of cars, whether or not they need financing, whether or not they're looking for something specific, the type of car, what their needs and concerns are. So as people are talking to the AI that we have in the system, all of that information is being saved and it's in your notes. So the system continues to look at this information and can pass that information to the salesperson. So it works so much better.
Okay. What are the top advantages dealerships enjoy when they automate the lead generation process?
Well, a lot of it is going to be based on the amount of lead conversion rates, the increase in lead conversion rates. So typically lead conversion from a person coming to your website into your actual business and converting them into a client is somewhere around 1%. Okay, so what we found is that we can change that number to about 3% just based on over time. Now, we're not talking about in 1 month, but over time, we can convert that number into 3%. So that means that you're talking about 300% more business over time. And if
Yeah.
you can do that, it's huge being able to do it. And the reason that you're able to do it is because we we look at the different systems that every business must have. There's 7 systems that all businesses must have. You have leadership, which is, I guess your ownership. You have management, whoever your sales manager is, how they do that. Finance, which is obviously handled by the front office. But then you have marketing. You have
Mhm.
lead generation. You have lead conversion, and you have fulfillment. And
Yeah,
so what happens is all of those things have to be taken care of. And what we do is we take care of a lot of that stuff for our clients. And so by using AI, what we're able to do when people come into your funnel, a lot of the people are up at the top of the funnel, they're not ready to purchase. We want to wait
yeah,
until they come down to the middle of the funnel. And once they come
right.
to the middle of the funnel, that's when you want the salespeople or the AI to be engaging with them. Okay, trying to spend time with people, someone who is not ready to convert, they're never going to convert. So it's very important to make sure that we find ways of being able to reach people and find ways of being able to convert them with them.
Okay. What, I mean, how adaptable are your AI-driven systems to the unique needs of each dealership?
Oh, well, as far as AI and what happens with every dealership, I mean, everything that we do is bespoke. I mean, so it is custom for every single dealership. As I mentioned, earlier, we can actually create a BDC, an AI BDC for businesses, and have that run and do that. And for smaller dealerships, that's huge because generally they don't have the people, the manpower, or the knowledge of how to set up a BDC. Well, we can actually handle that. This system, what it can do is all of that. But if you're a dealership that already has a BDC, that you're working with someone, and you have a way that this is already done in your dealership, then we can do other things there as well. So we don't have to include that aspect of it. But believe me when I tell you, we work well with the BDC as well. So it can work anyway. So it really depends on what people need and what they're looking for. But the way that we structure our systems is that it works with your dealership. It's custom to your dealership and based on your needs.
Okay, so how does your technology enable dealerships to pinpoint and captivate the certain customer segments and local markets more effectively?
Well, as I mentioned before, one of the things that we try to do is we increase the number of people that are actually coming into the system, and we take those people that are ready to actually to go. So one of the things that we're able to do is convert those people a little better, a little faster, be able to use localization in order to be able to reach people within a certain mile radius of your dealership, and then have different conversations with them than we would with people who are outside of your local area. So being able to set it all up and do things the right way with your dealership is obviously one of the things that we want to make sure that we're able to do. And in doing that, we feel very comfortable about being able to spread the different things that we're going to make happen for your business, and improve all of that in the best way that we possibly can. So, there's a lot of stuff that can be done with each dealership, and each one is going to be very different.
Um, as far as integration, would the AI solution integrate with dealer management systems, or it kind of works side by side with it?
Well, it does both. It integrates with the dealer management systems because we can take information that comes from, let's say, Dealer Center, for example. We know that there are certain things within Dealer Center that you'll be able to do and get that are specific to your business, like credit reports and all the things that you would do necessarily in order to be able to work that particular deal. But what we do is most of it is outside of Dealer Center. And then what we can do is we can send those leads that are now ready to go into your CRM or into whatever dealer management system that you choose to use. So we can integrate with all of them. As I said, I'm a techie, so I know how to do all of that stuff when we set up the integrations with all of them with as part of what we do.
Okay, so what should a dealership anticipate in terms of setting up and ongoing management when they um adopt your system, your
Um,
lead?
It's usually about a 2 to 3 week process to get everything, or at least the initial system up and running. And what we do is we start with a very small system and then we build out with you. And the
Okay.
reason we do that is because I think it's important to understand the business and then be able to add the AI and other things that we would normally use in order to enhance the lead generation, lead conversion, and all of those things that we would generally do. The reason is that unless we fully know your business, and it takes time to do that, unless we fully know your business, I can't set up a system that's going to work on your behalf. I have to set one up that starts and then begins to grow. And one of the
Yeah.
things that AI does is it removes friction. And a lot of businesses, a lot of dealerships have a lot of friction, and it's important for them to have that because they don't have good systems. So what we do is we come in and we create the systems that the dealerships need in order to be able to be more effective and more efficient. And with that more effectiveness and more efficient and that higher efficiency, now we're able to introduce AI so that now you can close more people. So it's one of those things that, being able to integrate all of these things is going to be very important. How we do it, is critical to how your business succeeds.
Okay. Um, what metrics should dealerships monitor to assess the impact of AI-driven lead generations?
Oh, well, the important metrics are always going to be the number of leads, the lead conversion rates. You want to know how many people you've actually reached. You want to know how many cars how many units you've actually sold. I mean, pretty much the same thing, the return on investment, same things that you normally would. Nothing really changes. But what you're in terms of the statistics and the metrics that you want to be able to keep an eye on. What does change, however, is are those numbers. So you're going
Okay.
to find that your lead conversion rates are going to go up by like 33%, somewhere in that range. I'm sorry, 37%, somewhere around 37%. You're going to find that your lead conversion rates are going to increase by up to 50, 60% in some instances. Okay. You're going to find that your ROI is going to go up significantly. Okay, so these are the things that you want to make sure that you know as you're going into this, and you want to make sure that you keep an eye on, because that's the stuff that's going to make a difference in your dealership. And
Oh,
obviously the number of units that you're actually able to sell is going to go up as well. Okay, and people say, well, why would the units go up? Well, because our system does a number of things. There are really 10 things that dealerships are looking for that they really want to make sure, like 10 concerns. Start with like digital presence, lead generation, conversion rates, customer experience, reputation management, after sales service, regulatory compliance, your competition, and of course, any technological integration. Wow, I can't remember. I can't believe I remembered all of those. But our system deals with all of those things, so you want to make sure that you keep an eye on each of those things. As far as your digital presence is concerned, how many more people are you talking to? Are you in different places? Where are you that you weren't before in terms of lead generation? How many more people, are you generating at this point? What are your conversion rates? How have they gone up? What about customer experience? What are people saying about what you're doing and how it's working for them? Reputation management, more are you getting more reviews, more good reviews? What's happening? That's something that should be happening. What about service? Are you able to schedule more service? And, how are people feeling about the service that you're doing? Compliance, of course, is very important. Are you making sure that the people that you have in your system are compliant? What am I missing? Technological integration and making sure that that's, done. And inventory management is also important. So, how are these things working? And, those are the things that you want to make sure that you have some information on.
Okay, what are the most pressing lead generation challenges that dealerships face today?
I'd say that the biggest challenge that dealerships face today really has to do with them getting good leads and people that are actually willing and looking to close and purchase a vehicle right away. Um, so being able to find that, but then the next step of that, there's always what they call the QBQ, the question behind the question. And the question behind the question is really what happens to those people who are not ready to buy today? So
Yeah,
only 5% of people that come to your website are ready to buy today. So what happens to the 95%? What do we do? And that's where what we do differs from what a lot of businesses, a lot of dealerships are doing today. The 95 is followed up incessantly. I mean, we just don't stop until they actually are ready to purchase or they say, go away. We don't want, we're not looking for a car anymore.
yeah,
So because the systems are generated and created using AI, we don't have the burnout that a salesperson would have or a BDC, or we don't have any long-term or short-term limits on when we actually will follow up with someone. One of the things that I do a lot of times when I walk into a dealership, I say, look, give me the leads that you have that are 120 days old, that are more than 90 days old. A lot of times the BDC is not going to call them. Okay. And the sales paid person definitely is not going to call them. So what we do is we start there because that's an opportunity to be able to bring more people and reactivate those leads.
okay. So, how does the digital dealership ensure the security and privacy of the dealership data?
Oh, well, everything that we do is, 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 is subject to all kinds of laws. So we have the TCPA, which we have to make sure that we monitor. And we also monitor the GDPR and all of the other ways that we have to make sure that we handle data. The system that we use is actually HIPAA compliant. This is not a medical business. But what happens is because of the level of security that we need, it works well for all businesses. One of the things that we do, and a huge part of what we do, is actually regulatory compliance. We actually handle regulatory compliance as it relates to getting leads and bringing those people in, because they're huge systems, they're huge changes, I should say, in terms of how people are actually going to be using new data and what you can do in terms of lead generation. So those go into effect starting next year. So we want to make sure all our dealerships are actually set up. So regulatory compliance and what we do is a huge part of what we do. And with fines and so forth being at $1,500 per incident, it can be huge if those things are not taken care of. So it's a very important part of what we do.
Okay. Can you outline the cost structure for integrating your AI and the cost saving benefits for the dealerships?
Sure, sure. There probably aren't any real cost saving benefits, but there are great opportunities in order to be able to generate additional revenue. There are
Okay.
some places that we can save some money for the dealership simply because, and you'll find that, ROIs tend to go down, tend to go up a little bit because the cost for generating leads goes down. Okay, the lead
Okay.
generation cost goes down. So those would be like the only places that you would find like real, decreases in cost, like cost savings. But what you'll find is that there are a number of different benefits that people get, for doing that. And the great thing is what we do is everything that we do is based on our performance. So a lot of companies have that work with AI and help dealerships. They have a model where you pay monthly, every month. And I don't think that that's the best way to actually go. I believe that the model that we have, where we get paid as we sell vehicles for you, is probably the best way because you can see exactly what we're doing and we only get paid based on our production. So for us, we find that it's the best way to actually get dealers to take a look at what we're doing. We have some minor upfront costs. We have some upfront costs, but what happens is those really work out to be an implementation um, but what we do is we actually take that off of whatever we're supposed to be making. So in other words, it's an implementation draw. So
Mhm.
we set it up, we use it to set up everything to make sure that we're all on the same page and that we're putting everything together and your system is set up the way that it should be. But that money, you recoup that money as we begin to sell units for you. So the idea is that we only get paid when you get paid. So we are heavily invested in making sure that you do well.
Okay. What kind of support and training does dealer digital dealership provide to ensure smooth implementation and operation of your system?
Yeah, well, what we do is initially we set up, we spend time with you to understand and know your business. The next step is to understand what your goals are, where you want to go, and how you want to get there. And then once we figure all of that out, the next step is to put the system together and make sure that it works the way that it needs to. So about a month in, we really spend about a month and a half, really giving the training that's necessary in order to provide people with all of what they need in order to know how it should work. So a lot of the training, if you will, is going to be how the system should integrate with your systems and integrate with your salespeople, your sales staff. Will the sales staff get a call? Will they have to look in a particular place in order to find the information? Should they get a text message that should tell them that? So these are all the things that we kind of put together. And so a lot of it is done without needing a whole lot of training because everything actually integrates with what you're doing. So, but we
Okay.
find that during that time, probably about a month in, we spend time actually going through everything. And then, of course, we have training videos and all of that so that people can get an idea of what it is that they should be looking at and how they should do certain things. And then, of course, we have support where you can, reach out 24 hours, 7 days a week, get a response, and a lot of the information that you may be able to, concerns that you have, may be able to be answered in that way as well.
Okay. So, how does digital dealership stay aligned with dealerships' evolving needs and ensure long-term success?
Huh. Well, listen, I told you that I'm a tech head,
Yeah.
so what happens is I tend to stay up on all the new things that are happening. The great thing about technology is that it continues to evolve and it gets better, and things happen very quickly in technology. Um, what we know about the car dealership business is that things don't change much in the car dealership business. right? Things really don't change much. I mean, I think people are doing pretty much the same stuff that they were doing 20 years ago in this business. There are a few things that have changed in terms of being able to use technology to help with a lot of back end things, like, if you're talking about being able to create documents and, making sure that all of that is done, et cetera. But, a lot of it is really, done the same way. Okay. So what we do is we continue to stay up on finding ways of being able to integrate what we do with the changes or sometimes non-changes that are made in the industry. So we keep up with everything, make sure that the AI does what it's supposed to do, and it continues to, build your business in the best way. So this is something that, we do on a regular basis.
Okay. So what does the process look like for a dealership ready to get started and get its lead generation with your services?
Oh, well, it's actually pretty easy. We start by gathering some information, or you gathering some information, learning what it is that we do. We'll set up a call in order to determine where you want to go and how you want to get there. And then we spend some time just, kind of talking about what it is that we can do and what you can expect from the implementation of what we do. And once we understand all of that, then, it's just a matter of engaging us, and then we begin the process.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like our viewers to know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there are probably a number of things that, I just want to kind of make sure that people understand about how this whole thing works. Um, AI is a great tool. A lot of people are concerned about it taking away jobs. Some dealers are concerned about it taking away jobs from people in BDCs. Some are concerned about it, if you're a salesperson, you're concerned about it taking away your job. AI doesn't take away jobs necessarily. What it does is it removes friction. Okay. And that's how we use it in this business. We use it to remove friction and to improve what you do. So I don't know, some people may understand or may remember BASF, the company BASF. They say, we don't make this, whatever the product is, we just make it better. And that's what AI does right now. And that's what our systems do. It just makes what you do currently better. It makes it more efficient, more effective. It makes you, sell more, convert more, find more, and then just begin doing a lot more business because you have a system that doesn't go to sleep, a system that continues to convert while you're doing something else on the phone, a system that waits for the people at the top of your funnel to drop down before it allows you to engage. So in other words, you're not spending as much time at the top of your funnel. People spend a lot of time at the top of the funnel, and I think that that's where, that's where the deficits come from in business. Your money is made in the middle of the funnel, right in the middle of the funnel, where people have gotten the information that they need, and now they're ready to make a decision and talk. So
Yeah.
the thing that you want to do is not talk as much to people, but let the system work. We, meaning business owners or people that are salespeople inside the business, we often chase people away because they're not ready. And so what the system will do is drop people down for you so you don't have to worry about it. And this
Yeah.
way you convert a lot more people. So a lot of people are concerned about AI and what it can do. It just removes friction. Okay.
Okay.
And it makes life easier and better for you. So that's what our systems do. Of course, there are other things that, maybe AI is taking somebody's job somewhere, but not here. Okay. What it's doing here is removing friction and helping you to become more successful.
Okay. Well, I truly appreciate you for joining me today, and I believe that this information will be really good for dealerships to take advantage of. So if somebody wanted to reach you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
You can reach out for me at digital-dealership dot com,
Okay.
digital-dealership.com. And what you can do is once you go there, you'll be able to get a document that will give you an ebook which will give you a little more information and allow you to kind of figure out exactly what it is that we do, how we do what we do, and what ultimately you might be able to get from us, and how we'll be able to interact with you. That's probably the easiest way. And then the other thing, of course, is to be able to, reach out directly to us, via telephone. And so that's something else that can be done as well. So,
Okay, well, I'll put your information in the comments so that the viewers will be able to click on the link. And for anybody that would love to get a free profit and cash flow analysis with me, my information is in the comments as well. You can schedule your appointment right there. So thank you all for watching this video. I hope you learned something that can help you, and have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.
all right. Thank you very much.